My name is Hinojosa Jr. and I'm the councilman for the city of Roma, and I am truly honored to introduce to you my friend. Well, he's more than that. He's...
I'm just a layman truck driver. I forget, G. Allen Ramirez. What did you call it? The politics of personal bullshit? June 16th, you post a picture of you and Isaac, your son. The guy listed as my brother in my Facebook page because I adopted him when he was a kid. I keep telling you to leave family out of it, but it's like you want to talk about family, so let's talk about family. June 16th, Isaac posts about his son Tristan having graduated on June 15th. Your grandson graduated from the New Mexico National Guard Youth Challenge Academy. I can almost hear Tristan if I were to tell him, "You're a badass, mijo." He would just nod and say, "I know," in a manner that only a badass could pull off. So what happened, Gocha? You couldn't make it to New Mexico? You give the impression that you were in Chicago. Or were you just remembering when you took that picture a couple of years back and didn't think about how misleading your post was? You didn't mention your grandson. You didn't post a picture of him or say a few words. Even Eleazar Velasquez and Ramiro Guillen have the decency to take a picture with their granddaughters. Which reminds me, before you judges go around endorsing everyone and their mothers like you guys always do, I think it is only right to warn you guys that grievances will be filed for each instance of social media endorsement. I know you guys like to pull together to remind people who to vote for and how you're 100% behind some of the biggest rats in the county, but the jig is up, guys. Playtime is over. The truth doesn't ask for permission, nor does it beg for forgiveness. In 2005, G. Allen Ramirez's master of ceremony, Joel Hinojosa Jr., the councilman from Roma that considers Allen to be more than just a friend and talks about Allen's wisdom and transparency. Joel Hinojosa Jr. was busted for possession of marijuana in a second-degree felony. He pled guilty and was finished with his 10-year deferred adjudication after 3 years of probation. He was represented by none other than Danny Garcia and prosecuted by Hilda G. Garza under Heriberto Silva. Probably a few other people he considers to be more than just friends by now. Deferred adjudication removes the crime from the record or something like that, but it doesn't change the fact that he did it. It really wouldn't have bothered me, except that I have heard through the grapevine that the city of Roma has offered him, or should I say the Little League, $2,000 for the program. The only condition was that he turn over the bank statements for the last 6 months. You see, the Little League Association was made independent of the city and without oversight. Joel claims that Gocha can bring transparency to the 229th. The question is, can Joel bring transparency to the Little League program? They don't like the job that the current DA Omar Escobar is doing. What's not to like? Sex offenders have been sentenced to life. DWI manslaughter cases have received max sentences. Joel Alejandrez got a life sentence in the Ricochet case. He cleaned out the tax office when they were making their own reports and no one was checking their numbers. He has prosecuted officers. He created the Crime Victims Unit. He created Ayuda Center integrated with Hidalgo where they do therapy and forensic interviews. He has delivered some hard sentences in Duval County for theft. He cleaned up Duval County's appraisal district, wiped out a justice of the peace for taking money in exchange for bond reductions. He wiped out several employees of La Grulla who were not prosecuted by the former DA. He has prosecuted probation officers for forgery. See, a lot of lawyers start out working as prosecutors. It's a good place for them to get their feet wet. Instead of praising his grandson, G. Allen Ramirez praises himself as having worked as an assistant prosecutor back in 1983. Well, whoop-de-freaking-do, counselor. I wasn't sure that I could throw this far back. Give me a freaking break. You're reaching, and you will have to do a lot better than grabbing assistant DA. Starr doesn't want to claim you. Hebronville watched you leave and never come back. And the Houston Astros called and said, stop wearing our logo. You're giving us a bad rep. June 18th, Allen posts a black and white pic of himself wherein he is back to pumping iron. Call it a diversion, call it a hobby. How about I call it burning through an 8-ball? You are 65 years old and you're trying to prove to the world that you're still young. I get it. You're having a hard time growing old. But dude, you are old. Deal with it. A young token wife standing next to you does not make you young. It makes you neglect the women that invested time building a family with you. It makes you neglect the families that you swapped out of your life in exchange for a token young, money-hungry wife. You don't hold the vows sacred. You care more about giving an impression than your grandson's graduation. Cutting a kilo with Metamucil isn't going to help you. If you can't take care of your own, how the hell do you expect to take care of the voters? With promises and secretaries telling people that you're working on a big case and you will call back when you're done, and then they don't hear from you for months? Or is it that you believe that no response is a response and it's a powerful one? As Hervé posted, and you mentioned you liked that. Joel obviously liked it too. I won't hold my breath waiting for a response on any real issues. I have the courage to speak my mind and defend my opinion, and my opinion isn't based solely on whether I like someone or not. It is a huge contrast to see school board members with Budweiser girls. It's fun, I get it. But it is something else entirely to see where their priorities really are. I grew up in Starr County, and that means that I grew up in a place where people all around me have had a problem with drugs at some point in their lives. But they aren't running for the one position in the county that almost demands a drug-free candidate. People's prior convictions are seldom a concern to me. You try and tarnish my reputation by bringing up the fact that I'm a formerly convicted felon, while you ignore the fact that Joel Hinojosa Jr. was also at some point a convicted felon.
Understand? Lord, you know, they tells the baby that somebody done hoodoo the...
It's getting harder to trust anything that comes out of your campaign, Alan. There are public servants trying really hard to put some distance between them and people like Leti Garza Galvan and Joel Hinojosa Jr. But you keep relying on them to talk about you like if they had a shred of credibility left. I can't imagine trusting you with evidence. I wouldn't trust you around drugs. I wouldn't trust you around cash. I wouldn't trust you around young women. The last thing the office of the DA needs is sexual harassment lawsuits. I wouldn't trust you with anything that jeopardizes the well-being of your associates. It is obvious that you're going to take care of the people that are rooting for you. You really aren't from here, and you really don't represent the people from here. I can't trust G. Allen Ramirez to be the DA. The more I dig into the people that are supporting him, the more I find out that he embraces criminals selectively. It doesn't bother him that people like Leti Garza Galvan, Baltasar Salazar, Leti Lopez's husband, Eleazar Velasquez, Joel Hinojosa Jr. have all broken the law at some point, but the average felons like myself are people that no one listens to according to him. G. Allen divides criminals by status. He considers some crimes to be mistakes when the people are helping him bank money from the schools or support his campaign, while others are felons no one listens to. How many criminals did he help dodge justice and thereby making the public the victim? Thereby making the victims' families the victims as well. How many clients did he talk into just admitting guilt in exchange for a small sentence without even considering whether they were innocent? How many times did he participate in taking easy money from the schools and thereby making the taxpayers victims of legal theft? What has he really done for the community other than give back a lot less money than he took?